video is really just for one person. And I want to kind of warn or like encourage or advise this person to not stay in relationships that are not serving you. Please do not do that. Please. If it's not helping you, it's hurting you. Some things are just black and white. Some things are just very clear. Our emotions get in the way of us seeing clearly sometimes. Is the person you're with helping you grow, evolve, become a better person? Or are they pulling you away from the person you're really trying to be? I struggled surrendering parts of my life to God. And one big part of my life that I was like reluctant to surrender was my romantic relationships. And before I've had this encounter with God, I really thought I was smart enough to maneuver my relationships. Like I just knew, like I've read all the books, I've read blogs, and I've listened to podcasts, and I thought I was spiritually strong enough to go into this area of my life with confidence. And I was wrong. I was definitely wrong about that. And I blamed myself for a long time, blaming myself for my failures, blaming myself for failed relationships, because I was doing it all on my own. I had no one else to blame. I could blame the other person I was involved with, but at the end of the day, I have free will. That was hard to let go of and give to God. And it's been like this, we've been fighting over this thing for years. Hi, welcome to Moments of Essence. Yes, I've been crying. That's why my eyes look like this. But yes, I'm Essence, and I created this channel to talk about finding greater ease in our lives, and I chose minimalism in order to do that. So I talk a lot about travel, solo travel, and traveling on a budget. I also talk about my journey as a Christian single woman in her 30s. So if you think some of my topics will be relevant to you, please subscribe and hit the notification button so that you can be notified when I post a new video. I literally just finished shaving my mustache and unibrow. Yeah, so that's just a foreshadowing of how real and honest I'm going to get in this video. Yeah, it's about to get real personal. So let's just strap in and get right into it. I'm learning about love and obedience. Those two kind of like go hand in hand, I'm learning a lot about myself in this process, in this journey. And it's been 2 years, so I feel like I can finally say something about what I've learned. It's been a minute. It's been a long time. It's been a long time, and I can finally shed some light on it because I'm going through it, and this process is not easy. It's not easy. I grew up in the Christian faith, right? But I knew that there would come a time when I would have to choose for myself what I believed and what I valued. And so over the years, I've had so many opportunities to choose. I've had many times my faith has been challenged, and I had to decide whether or not to continue following Christ. I'm not married, I don't have kids. This is a very unique position to be in, I think, and for men it's different, right? You can be in your 30s as a man, thriving, single, no kids, and nobody blinks an eye. Nobody asks you questions, nobody pressures you. You have all the time in the world. But as a single woman in her 30s, it's a lot different. You do get questions, you do get looks, you do get criticized and judged, you know. You're kind of like an outcast in a way. If you've never been married, if you've never had kids, if you've never had a long-term relationship, or, you know, there's a stigma around it as a woman. And I want to talk about that because it's very isolating. And I did not expect this. It's very isolating to be in my shoes right now, because people question you. Like, what are you doing? Like, why don't you have this status, or why don't you have this life that many women your age have? And a lot of it has to do with where I am spiritually. And everybody has their own journey, right? So I'm on my journey, you're on your journey. It's not gonna look the same. Like, my life is mine. No one else can do this for me, you know? And where I am at spiritually, I'm happy actually to be where I am spiritually, because I've learned so much about God, and I've learned so much about His love and His grace. I've seen my faith grow over the years, and I've seen evidence of God's presence in my life. If you know the story of Jacob, when he basically ran away from home, and he ran away from home because he betrayed his brother Esau, and he was afraid for his life, so he ran away, and he had to kind of confront himself and confront God about this, because he was just living in fear. He had this really interesting encounter with God, and he physically fought God, like physically fought him, and God injured him. Whew. He broke his hip. He broke his hip. Yeah. And he changed his name from Jacob to Israel. And this fight with God answered a lot of questions for Jacob, or Israel. You know, he needed to have that encounter with God to know that he was being protected, to know that God was on his side, to know that he was forgiven, all these things. Like, and I feel like I've been fighting with God, and he got me, you know, he really got me. And I feel like I have a bit of a limp now because of our fighting. And I I'm trying to heal from the injury, I suppose. And so 2 years ago, I was struck with this conviction that I needed to stop doing things my way and surrender, fully surrender to God. And this decision was not because of some moral issue. It wasn't a moral issue. Like people talk about sex and they say, well, you shouldn't do it because of X, Y, and Z. It actually had nothing to do with that. It had more to do with me idolizing people, idolizing men especially, and putting them before God. And when God told me that, like, you are idolizing these men. You're not supposed to have any other idols. Like, what are you doing? You say you love me, but you're putting these men before me. What's up? What's up with that? So this really hit me, and I realized it was not about the sex. It was about my promise to God, my commitment to Him, to honor Him first. And I wasn't doing that. So 2 years ago, around this time, he was just like, no more. You need to go cold turkey. Just stop what you're doing. Like, stop in your tracks. And I want you to shift your focus from these guys, to your relationship with me, and I'll tell you what to do next, basically. And it's been 2 years, and I don't know what's next, but I want to walk in obedience. And for the person out there who has maybe been feeling the same conviction, maybe you've been thinking about this for a while, like, I need to be doing something different, I would suggest just to pray about it and ask God what it is that He wants you to stop doing, what it is that He wants you to surrender to Him, and just wait for His answer. He'll tell you. He'll tell you. And it'll be so clear. Like, this for me, it wasn't like a voice from heaven told me, but it was like a wake-up call. Like, oh, what am I doing? Like, I don't even know what I'm doing. Let me just pray about this, Just ask God, what is it that revealed to me? Examine my heart and tell me what it is that I'm not giving to you. Like, what am I not surrendering to you? And He'll show you. If you don't believe in God, I would suggest that you just think about what it is that you're doing with your free will that is actually hurting you and not helping you. I have free will. I can choose. I could do whatever I want to do. But not everything is for my benefit, right? And that's something I learned over the years. Associating with certain people was not for my benefit. Giving my heart to certain people was not for my benefit. Trusting certain people was not for my benefit. So yeah, I could do whatever I want, but is it good for me? We can do whatever we want to do. But there are some things that we're doing to ourselves that are actually hurting us. And we know it. We know that it's painful, that the pain that we feel is self-inflicted. Are we self-sabotaging? Are we angry at ourselves? What is it that we're doing to ourselves that is causing more pain than it should? I turned to relationships because I wanted something to honor, to respect, to appreciate, to love. But I was idolizing relationships. I was putting them above God. And I created this idol because I felt like I was doing something, like I had control, right? I took the gold and I threw it into the fire and I created this idol because I did it with my own hands. And I felt powerful. I felt like I'm finally I'm taking control over my own life. Not realizing that I had stopped depending on God. I had stopped depending on God. It's like when the Israelites were leaving Egypt and they were out of Egypt and Moses was leading them and he went into the mountain and he was up there for a long time, right? And the Israelites began to like get impatient and they wanted something to do. They were like, we need to create an idol. Like we need to feel like our fate is up to us. We need to feel in control. Let's freaking make an idol, right? So let's throw our jewelry into the fire. And as they were doing this, Moses was actually on his way back to give them the 10 Commandments, the law of God, which God wrote with his own finger. Wow. God wrote the law with his own hand, and he wanted to give that and share that with his people. And when Moses got back with the 10 Commandments and he saw what they had done, he literally just broke the tablets in like anger, like, why are you doing this? And it's heartbreaking because I do this all the time. I get impatient. I do my own thing when God had something like waiting for me, something really special waiting for me. And I decided to do my own thing. And I basically ruined the surprise, or like I reject the gift that he has for me by choosing to do things my own way. And the gift is really special. It's like handmade. It's something he crafted himself to give to me. And I reject it because I thought what I was doing over here was a better option. I have been celibate for 2 years and counting until God tells me to do something else. And it hasn't been easy. It hasn't been easy. And I have been taking a break from dating. I have been taking a break from relationships. And I have been decentralizing romantic relationships from my life because that's what I've been called to do. And it won't make sense to everybody, but that's okay. For me, celibacy wasn't just about abstaining, but reframing my life, like, what is the center of my life? Is it relationships with men? It doesn't have to be. It could be so much more than that. God wanted to show me he showed me what he saw. And that was, I was centering men. I was making them the most important thing in my life. And he's like, is that what you want? You want these flawed men to be the center of your life? They're going to hurt you. They're going to disappoint you. That's not a really good foundation to have. Let me help you out here. Let me reframe things for you. Let me show you what's really important in your life. And I allow God to do that. And it's been the best decision I've ever made. Pleasing men or pleasing God? Pleasing men or pleasing God? These are questions that have constantly been, it's like a revolving question every single day. I have to ask myself what it is that I want to do with my free will. Do I want to please God or please man? 2 years ago, I was so lost, and I needed to get really clear on my values, really clear on my priorities, because they had been like completely destroyed, just completely wiped out, erased. And I needed it to take a break. And I feel like this break is actually leading me, and it's moving me towards living in alignment with my true values. And I think whether you're Christian or not, it's important to know what it is that's important to you. What matters most for you? This is the question that at some point in our lives we're going to have to face. What is the most important thing for me? Because there's always going to be a number one. Always. And then there comes number two, number three, right? But there's always going to be a number one thing on our list, and we have to know what that is. We have to know what we really care about and what we really value and want more than anything else. And I hope this video helps you to get clear on what that thing is. And this topic is so emotional for me because I've seen myself lose myself. Like, I've watched myself get lost in relationships that were not serving me. And maybe you have too. But we can get back. We can find our way again. And it's possible. It's possible to get back to who we really are and to honor that person and to love that person truly. So this is it. This is all that I wanted to share with you. I hope it touches somebody. Like, I hope it reaches the person that it's supposed to reach. This video is really just for one person. And I want to kind of warn or like encourage or advise this person to not stay in relationships that are not serving you. Please do not do that. Please. If it's not helping you, it's hurting you. Some things are just black and white. Some things are just very clear. Our emotions get in the way of us seeing clearly sometimes. Is the person you're with helping you grow, evolve, become a better person? Or are they pulling you away from the person you're really trying to be? I hope you ask yourself that, and I hope you make the right choice. Don't make my mistakes and staying in things too long. I know 30 is not old, but it's not young either. Like, I'm not in my 20s anymore. I have less time than I had before. So I want to make less mistakes, and I hope that you can learn from my experience and my story, whether in your 20s or 30s or 40s or 50s, whatever it is. I just hope that you put yourself first and love yourself to the utmost, and that's what I wish for you. Thank you so much for watching. This was hard to get through, but we made it. We made it. Thank you for your attention and your time. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to see more videos like this. I just want to share more real stuff on YouTube, like just like real life stuff, and I hope you join me on this journey. God bless. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.